Good afternoon. I'm delighted to have with me today Joanne Horobin, National Account Director for QHotels Collection. Today we're talking about venue profiles, the real Rule 101 of venue marketing. The secrets of winning business through having an amazing venue profile. So, Joanna, welcome.
Thank you.
You have a great reputation in the industry for your infectious energy and enthusiasm. Your passion in driving your brands, maintaining the highest standards and attention to detail, but also allow venues to retain their individual character. Q Hotels is an award-winning portfolio made up, as you describe, as genuinely eclectic, exciting mix of 19 hotels across the UK. A true UK brand. Firstly, congratulations. How does it feel to be honoured with a bronze for the UK Hotel Brand of the Year in this year's M&IT Awards?
It was an amazing achievement, not just for our team, but for the whole of the QHotels Collection. We work hard every year to strive to be better, to get our name out there. We were more than happy to be finalists. We were up against some of the big guys within the industry, and for us, 19 hotels to achieve a bronze was we were over the moon, and it was like wildfire around our company come Friday evening, and everybody knew about it, and everybody was very excited, and it's just a nice pat on the back for all of us that our brand is out there and it's being recognised as being a fantastic brand in the UK.
So what do you think is the essence of Q Hotels Collection?
I think the essence of us is we're all about meetings and events. That's our bread and butter. That's what we focus on. That's what we strive to improve. Whether it's our meeting rooms, whether it's our food offering, whether it's going a little bit different with outdoor space, or that's just what we're all about, and that's where our passion is in terms of looking forward, and everybody from our group CEO right down to somebody who works on reception, we live and breathe meetings and events.
And I'd like to endorse that personally, because I've watched your collection grow.
Yeah.
I've watched the team grow, and of course we've all had the joys of COVID.
Yes.
But as a group, we stood firm together, and I remember that very well. And your support during that as a brand was not just for someone like ourselves, but also throughout the whole of the M&E segment in the UK. Congratulations for that too.
Thank you.
Hence the reason why you're winning awards.
Exactly.
Good. Well, venue marketing, Rule 101. Wow. It's the real value of winning business with a great venue profile. Why is this important?
Because that is our shop window to promote our hotels. It's very difficult for clients to come out and see our venues. We've all got busy lives. We've all got meetings coming out of our ears and Teams calls and all the rest of it. And not everybody can get to our venues. As you mentioned before, we're an eclectic mix of different styles of hotels. We're not a cookie cut style hotel where if you've seen one, you've seen them all. So our imagery and our photography is immensely important. To the extent that as soon as we've had something refurbed or something's changed within our hotels, within weeks we've got photographers coming in, taking new imagery, and then it's out there within a matter of weeks. So, for us, our venue profiles and our imagery are our shop window.
Well, that's really good to hear, and I think you're leading the way on that, Jo. I genuinely do, because you get it. So many people these days don't. They see it as a chore. But really, it's fantastic to see such great profiles and also the investment that you put into those. But what specific information would you recommend to venues who perhaps don't really know where to start or just don't really appreciate yet how important that venue profile is for winning business?
I think start small and look at what's important to you in terms of what promotes your venue or your hotel, whether it's outdoor space, whether it's sort of, interesting architecture or anything like. Focus on the things that sell your venue first. and keep it small, keep it manageable, and then you build on it as things come on board, whether it's EV charging points or whatever it is, then you can add to it bit by bit. I think sometimes you look at, especially if you're putting a new profile on, you're thinking, oh my God, this is a lot. How are we going to get all this information? And it can be a little bit overwhelming, but just break it down, do it bit by bit, look at what's important, go with that first, and then everything else will slowly, come into view.
Great. So how does a well-maintained profile contribute to helping bookers make informed decisions? This is the golden nugget, isn't it? This is the real deal in terms of why you do it, isn't it?
I think, again, going back to what I said, everybody's got busy lives. They don't want to be going to different websites to find out different information. You can go to one bit to find out how many bedrooms, and then you have to go to another page to find out whatever it is. With your venue profile, it's very easy to get the basic information just on the overview, whether it's bedrooms, whether it's, approximate costings, general sort of information. And I think that's what people like. They just need a quick reference, and then they can go into a bit more detail.
And really, I suppose when you're talking about that, is you don't want every inquiry. You prefer the inquiry to be an informed inquiry who have read what you haven't got as much as what you have got.
Yes, exactly.
And therefore, by the time they come to your hotel with an RFP or request for proposal, they know what they want, they know you can do it, and they know you can afford you, which is really, really important as well. Exactly. But can you share any little tidbits of where the venue profile has swayed a booker's decision to go ahead with you as a result?
I think just going back to our imagery, really, I think, especially if they've been to that hotel maybe 10, 15 years ago, and they have a vision of what that hotel was at that point. I'll use Chesterford Grange as an example. It's got great space, it's in a great location, but maybe their memories of Chesterford 15 years ago wasn't particularly positive.
Yeah.
But now, we've got the new imagery on there, they've had the refurb, everything's on there. So that has swayed clients to say, actually,
it's worth rethinking.
It's worth rethinking, because we all know the amount of times that we go out there and say, oh yeah, I did think about this venue, but I was there 10 years ago and it was looking a bit tired, and it was this and it was that. If you haven't updated your profile, or if you haven't updated your images, then they're still going to continue to think that.
That's very good. So what are the primary benefits for venues when they invest time in optimizing their profiles on venue finding platforms? Because many venues will say to me, I don't have time. But really, I know with Edge, it's automatic as you're doing RFPs. Yeah. I don't suppose all of them are like that, but what's the real key benefits?
I think for our venues, it's given the hotels the opportunity to keep things up to date, fast moving, any announcements, any tidbits, any refurb, any sort of like, you've had a great event in at the hotel, you've taken some photos, let's get it on the platform so you can see, something a little bit different. So it's instant gratification in terms of, how you can get things up onto the
And I couldn't agree with you more, and I see it every day, that those venues that have something that help them stand out from the crowd, they really do win business. They genuinely do. And it's something as simple as, it could be a recipe, it could be a small little video,
exactly.
It could be an offer, it could be actually one of their customers saying how lovely they've had their great experience there. So it's really, really good. So I'm just looking at the time saving and the productivity, because at the end of the day, there is many people who say, I don't have time. And I always say that, I don't have time. But from a booker's, can you explain how keeping profiles updated actually saves time for both the venue and the booker in the long run?
I think you want to stop those, you've gone to look at a venue on the platform. Oh, I really like that, but I've got 10 questions that I need answering. And that can either be done on an email, which, all of us, we get thousands of emails every day, or it's picking up the phone and then you can't get through, or you can't select to speak to the right person. So you're saving time for the booker in terms of they don't need to write that list down, and then they don't need to feed it through to the hotel because that information's on there. And then from a venue point of view, they're not having to provide that information because it's already there. So it speeds up the whole process. and it's a win-win for both sides.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I've seen that on many, many occasions as well, for real. So, are there any common mistakes you feel that hotels are making these days with their venue platform profiles? You know, they've invested in the platform, and then suddenly there's no action.
Yeah, I think you've got to be active on it,
Yeah.
and that's not every day. You know, it's sort of, you know, keeping an eye on it. I think it's when you are uploading new imagery, make sure you get rid of the old imagery.
Yeah.
Because I see that a couple of times. You know, then you're confusing the book as well, which is the right room, which is the wrong room. And also just a little tip that I've used, because I do go on there and I update some of our hotels,
Yeah.
you know, in different things. And it's like making sure your imagery is in the right order.
Yeah.
You know, it's a meetings and events platform. You don't necessarily want the swimming pool to be the first photo.
Or a bride.
Or, you know, or a bride, you know, so it's like, yeah, have those down, you know,
Yeah.
make sure you've got a pecking order in terms of, you know, what you want to promote first, and then feed and make sure it's in order, because I have seen that a couple of times, and so again, people haven't got time to.
No, but I suppose there's also the big old adage of, you know, hotels saying we don't have budgets and we can't keep doing photographs and we can't afford models and everything. So do you feel that you have to have professional photography?
You don't have to.
No?
If you know, I mean, sometimes a mobile phone can take a very good picture.
Yeah.
You know, we do it because that's what we do, and but you don't. I wouldn't say you need a professional. I'm sure amongst all of us in our offices, we've got somebody that's a dab hand at, you know, using a phone and sort of putting it out there. So
yeah. Well, any recommendations to venues about their visuals, about, you know, obviously you do it with a professional, but maybe there's some that don't, especially those small venues who perhaps have something to show, but perhaps not a lot of support for their marketing internally. What would you suggest to them?
I would, don't get stressed about it.
Yeah.
Just take what you can. You know, one photo is better than no photos.
Yeah.
If it's a little bit out of focus, then I'm sure, you know, there's things out there that you can use to, like, you know, brighten it, you know, make it look better. But just give it a go, because photos are better than no photos.
I don't disagree with you at all. And we were talking earlier about this, and you have to be quite brave on some things with photographs and little videos that you put onto your website. But in more recent years, I've seen teams standing out from the crowd by creating their own little video Christmas card in some hotels, and some of them doing little kind of displays of dancing. Or how do you feel about that?
I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think it shows the personality of the hotel. It shows the personality of the team. You've got to have the confidence to do it.
Yeah.
It's something that we dip in and out of.
Good.
In terms of, and if the team are up for it, then that, you know, that's amazing. And you know, they've got the support of the general managers or, you know, our marketing team. So I think it's good to show the personality.
I think that's sometimes where platforms miss out, isn't it?
Yeah.
It can be a tick box.
Yes.
And no opportunity to show the personality. Have you ever done it with any chefs yet, or are they very difficult to work with?
I wouldn't say they're very difficult, but you get some that love being front and centre stage, and others that just want to stay behind. But we haven't as of yet, but never say never.
Oh, please do, Jo, because I have worked with chefs for many years, and they tend to be quite shy, but we'd be very happy to do a profile of some of your chefs, because I think your food product is superb and they have a lot of good stories to tell. So we'll watch that space, shall we?
I'll let you know.
Okay, so moving on a little bit of just small things, I suppose, like room dimensions or sustainability initiatives. Do they really make a difference on a profile?
Definitely to room dimensions, and you know, it's surprising. Not obviously talking about our hotels, but you know, you might have a width and a length, but you don't have a ceiling height, or you know, and it's something. I was actually at a meeting last week, and we were talking about room plans, and you know, and things like that. And it's like, what's important? Yeah, you know, length and width and height is really good, but then it's like, you know, where's the sockets, where's the windows, you know, where's this, where's that. So if you're planning an event, that, you know, for some people that is really important. So you know, having that information, it may sound a little bit like, oh, you know.
Well,
But that is important if you're
a meeting planner,
and they have to have a particular sized room, and you know they've got lots of things that they need to do, whether they need plug sockets or you know whether they need to put a stage in there,
and
so
things like air conditioning and natural daylight.
Yeah.
But meeting planners, who are our audience, when you think about it, they're the ones who are going to promote the hotel through the venue profile to the key stakeholders. They are the detailed people.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
And they will, once they're really seriously considering you, will give you a hell of a long email that you have to reply to, probably just as it's about to leave on a Friday afternoon. Whereas if all the detail is already there, it's really important. So you mentioned floor plans or room plans.
Yeah.
Have you got room plans of each of your properties or floor plans?
Yes.
Fantastic. And they're all loaded in on Edge.
Yeah.
Well done, you. I give you full marks on that one. Okay. Moving on slightly, we're talking about data and the analytics of the data that's there. That when I was in hotels, we didn't have the data. We had to use gut feeling, which you know worked well, I have to say. But certainly when you've got 19 venues with a worldwide audience, which I'm sure you have, and an ever-changing audience, how do you utilize the data and analytics coming from these platforms to help you make better decisions?
We use it every day. We talk about it every day, and to try and understand patterns, because I think gone are the days where you could quite easily say, you know, these months are conference months, this month is you know, you can't do that anymore. So for us, data is hugely important, and it also guides us as to where we need to be going to next, whether it's a market segment, whether it's, you know, the location. So we do look at data on a daily basis.
Well, it's really interesting you saying that. So, and the reason why I say this is because we often see that the data analytics is not being viewed as much by hotels. Is there any recommendations or any pointers you could give to those hotels as to why the data is? Maybe they're afraid of it or they don't quite get it.
I think sometimes that is an element of it.
Yeah.
Maybe they're afraid of it. They don't quite understand the value or the power it can give you. But again, I would just say, give it a go. You know, if you don't understand it, pick up the phone, you know, speak to your team or you know, whichever platform you're using. And you can get from the data as much as you want to. If you're just looking at how many inquiries you've had and how many you've lost and how many you've won, then, you know, but then you can drill down further. So you can get as much or as little out of it as you need.
Exactly.
You know, smaller venues might not need the, you know, the inside out version of it, but other venues, you know, a little bit more. You know.
And of course, there's a lot of people who are phoning you or clicking through to your email or website prior to even going as far as an RFP, but coming from the profile itself, which again means that they're contacting you. So it doesn't always got to be through an RFP. They may buy in a different way from you, which I think is quite exciting about what we're doing.
And I think that not everybody fits the same profile. They might not want to do an online inquiry. They might just prefer to pick up the phone and speak to somebody, which the platform gives you that opportunity, or the booker that opportunity to go the way that they like.
I think that's the future, isn't it? But is there any other future trends that you are starting to see from venue finding platforms in general? Is there anything we can all learn from you?
I think there's always this thing about instant book, which has been rattling around for many, many, many years now. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how that evolves moving forward. Yeah. We talk about it again on a regular basis, the value of it, you know, how can we get involved in it?
As we do.
Yes,
as we do.
You know, and it's like, it's not like booking a bedroom, you know, booking a meeting room. It can be quite straightforward, but there's a lot of other elements.
There certainly is, and I think they sometimes feel that it's the holy grail to everything. And we probably have been on the other end of it, where you start off thinking, oh great, I've got a confirmed booking, and then you find out the attendees are all from different kind of walks of life. They all have different needs that don't fit into a box. And that can be quite something to manage.
Exactly. And then, you know, there is the whole AI. Topic, shall we say, subject, which again, you know, it'd be interesting to see how that
I think you're right. Is it going to shape our industry or not? Is it I don't think we should be afraid of it. I see it being used in a lot of productive ways to reduce some of the manual processes that are required, and our sector loves a manual process.
We love a manual process.
A manual
We love a
process.
piece of paper and a pencil
I know.
and a manual process.
And of course, we really do need to walk away from those, although I'm probably the worst in the world.
You know, I just like holding on to something.
I know. Do
Just like,
we can share.
we can, can't we? I know.
Share. Yeah. Okay, so to wrap up, how often do you think venues should review and change their profile? Not because they just want to touch it to get to the top of the list. It's got to be meaningful changes that people can then latch onto and use as a selling point for the venue. How often do you think?
I think it depends on the venue. I think it depends on the size of the hotel or wherever it may be. I think if you build it into your, whether it's a weekly task, a monthly task, and just say, right, okay, so, you know, what's gone on this month? You know, is there anything we need to update? Have we had a great testimonial? Have we had, you know, a great event where we've got some images on one of our phones? And it's just small things like that. You know, it doesn't have to be a massive thing. Mm-hmm. It could just be a couple of things that have happened over the weeks. You think, do you know what, I'm going to put that on there. Or, you know, it could be, you know, something to do with pets, or, you know, the dog's been in the office today, or, you know, anything like that that's just interesting.
It shows, you know, the hospitality nature of what we do.
Exactly. And as an industry, people by people, and we're very personable. And I think it just shows that, you know,
the personality
behind it. Yes, we're on a platform and all the information is on there, but there is actually people behind that. And I think that's a good way.
And on the people piece, is this updating profiles. It doesn't have to be an expert that does it, does it? Yeah. And it could be something that you can add a huge training piece to add value to our teams who are sitting in the office perhaps dealing with loads of inquiries, but one day a month they're doing venue profiles, they're looking at how best it could be and be part of the solution as well, couldn't they?
I mean, I'll even sit there as well. So if, you know, if I've had an email through with updates on whichever hotel it is, I thought, oh, do you know what? I was going to go onto Edge quickly, and I just thought, oh, I'm going to add that photo, or I'm going to add that, you know, that article or whatever it is. So I think if everybody's involved, then it's not a massive task.
Yeah, indeed. So lastly, I mean, customer feedback. I feel personally it has a huge role to play for us all going forward. How do you use that to help to bring venues ahead of the game now through their profiles? You know, asking customers what they think of the profile or getting feedback. Yeah. Do you feel that that's a value?
Yeah, we ask for feedback all the time.
Good.
Whether it's, you know, clients send us testimonials. We're very much involved in venue verdict, which is like asking the meeting planners and the people that are on site to give us feedback about, you know, how their event went, whether it was good, bad or indifferent, you know, how can we learn, how can we move things forward. And sometimes some of that feedback, you know, you think, oh, okay, but you take it away and you look at it from a different point of view and you improve for the next time. So feedback is across all of our hotels, across all segments. Yeah. It's something that's really strong for us.
Are you going to put more of it onto Edge in the future?
Yes, I have. It's one of my my little things that that as soon as I get anything, I'll ping it over and it goes.
Please do, because you know it's really easy to tell people what's not great about a hotel.
Exactly.
But isn't it wonderful? Yeah. And it's so good for the team.
Yeah, exactly.
And it does give the buyer a reason to buy, which of course is what we're really talking about today with venue profiles, aren't we?
That's right.
Is there any last piece that you'd like to add on venue profiles that you can talk to as many venues as you like right now and buyers? Yeah. What would you say?
I think with the platform's amazing. We've seen it grow for our business over the last sort of 4 years now, really, isn't it? As you said, as we came out of COVID, you know, we started working together more closely, and you know, this is, you know, the sort of this year we've seen, you know, greater increase in business, and I think you get out of it what you put into it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a massive sort of like task to do. Once it's all set up, it's very easy to sort of maintain and update, and the team are great to work with. You know, anybody at the end of the phone, you think, oh, can't do this, what's happening? And as you said, there's things added to the profile and the platform, I think, daily really these days, with little things here and there, you know. So it's a great platform to be involved in. And
Joanne Horobin, thank you so much for taking to the chair with me today.
That's all right, my pleasure.
And I wish you every success in your celebrations and you're moving forward for your awards, I would imagine, going forward.
Yes.
Thank you very much indeed.
You.
Thank you.